heading to the running back, Darius Taylor, in terms of rushing, the over-under this season is 1,300 yards. That averages out to about 108.3 yards per game. Um, I'll start here. Darius Taylor, 1,300 yards. Yes, I think that he'll do it. It's a ton of yards, but if we're going to keep our identity anything that it has been over the past few years, I don't see why not. This is all assuming health, of course.
Right.
If he does stick around for all 12 games and he is that running back one and, we ground and pound, I mean, he is going to have probably 200-yard games. So
Unfortunately,
with
yeah,
that,
probably in all
right.
three of the first games of this season with how much we're
Yeah.
probably going to use him.
And honestly, it's also a credit to the offensive line that we have.
For
We've been
sure.
hearing that they've looked impressive throughout camp this year. I don't see why they wouldn't just, dig up holes for Taylor to just run the ball. And so, yeah, I think that he hits that mark.
Yeah. I'll add that me and Max kind of teamed up to create these lines, and definitely one of the factors here was Darius Taylor's health, right? I mean, because he was on pace to demolish this last year just with the games he did play in. But I think health is a big deal, and we went back to even Mo's best season, and that was 1,600 yards. So I feel like the line is set pretty fair. We couldn't find one in Vegas. I'm sure somebody's got it, but that's why we set the rationale at 1,300 yards for Darius. I'm going to go under, and it's only because I think we're going to get him more involved in the passing game, and so that's going to be enough of the touches or yards, maybe you could say, that are coming off of the ground game. And then I'm going to hold out hope. We've been hearing good things about the Ohio transfer and the Oklahoma transfer. Cy Ben-Gura and Marcus Major. Been hearing good things about both of them leading up here to the season, so I'm hoping that they are going to spell Darius a little bit more than probably most of us are thinking they will. So for that reason, I'm taking the under, but for optimistic reasons. I want to say that.
Yeah. Again, I think I have to side with you, Kurt. Part of me is like, I don't want Darius to be on a pace higher than that because then I don't think he'll last the season. Like we looked at it last year. I mean, the pace he was on and the short amount of time he did play was like so unsustainable just from
Right.
the number of carries he was getting as a true freshman too. Like he's still kind of growing in a way. So like you said, Kurt, I'm hoping, we go back to a little bit more of like a Rodney Smith, Shannon Brooks type situation where Darius is the number one guy. Like he's going to get the bulk of the carries. He's still the bell cow, but we
Right.
don't need him in like every single play against, I don't know, Nevada. Like, can we just not maybe 10 carries against Nevada? That'll do. So I feel like there'll be a couple games that we'll try to save him a little bit. I think it could be close though too, because at the same time, if he continues to put up the numbers he did last year and stay healthy, then he could blow that number out of the water at the same time.
Right.
But like you said, optimistically under because we're going to use them properly.
I like it. All good reasons.
Yeah. Sticking with the rushing game, team total rushing touchdowns. The line that we have is at 24.5. Curdy, what do you think?
Yeah. So a little bit of background. We looked at last year's, and
Right.
Max, wasn't it we had only 13 rushing touchdowns? Wasn't it something like that? Yeah, which
Yeah.
blew my mind because we're running the ball all the time. But then think about it, it's like, yeah, we really didn't score, which was part of our problem. But here's the thing: I really think the offense is going to be the strength of this team this year. I think we're going to lean on that rushing attack a lot. I know I took the over for the Brosmer passing touchdowns, but I think we're also going to hit the over on the 24.5 rushing touchdowns. We're going to have a good offense this year. Maybe not elite, maybe not great, but it's going to be good. That's my prediction this year. So I'm taking the over for both the touchdown marks. And yeah, I mean, I got us with 8 wins. We got to be scoring some points. So
I like that. Yeah, this one I think I'm gonna go under as well. But it kind of goes back to just because I took the over with Brosmer's passing touchdowns. I think we'll maybe utilize him a little bit more in the red zone, throwing the football, just because he can. We're gonna do some play action and let him
Right.
roll out and toss it a little bit just to catch defense off guard. Um, but that's really a guess. And just there's a couple, there's a lot of defenses we play that are going to have really tough, stout run defenses. So scoring on those won't be easy, especially later in the season. So for that, I'll take the under, but I definitely think we'll be scoring more than we did last year. Like one rushing touchdown a game when your strength is your running game is so bad, but not this year.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
more kicker of the year for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to hit the under too. I do believe in the rushing attack more, but I am hoping for a balanced attack, which, I'm going with the overs for Brosmer. So I think in turn, the rushing attack won't be as big. Um, but I mean, where the line that we have is at, 24 and a half. That's a lot of touchdowns. We're talking, 12 more than last year. That is an additional touchdown running, per game,
Right.
every game you got a rushing touchdown. It's doable. We averaged 20.9 points per game last year. Not great, but I do think it'll be better. I just don't think that they'll hit that 25 mark.
One more point on this. Those two non-conference games after North Carolina, I feel like are going to be big if we're going to hit this or not. Because I can't imagine we throw it for. I mean, if we throw it for 2 touchdowns in those games, I'd be shocked because I feel like we're just going to ground and pound. I think if you get 4 touchdowns in each of those games on the ground, which is very possible, you're already a third of the way there, basically. So that's kind of also with my thought process.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Loser owes the other winner $10 is what we're saying, right? At the end of the year.
Yeah, I think you're right.